not at all where I was expecting that song to go. Not like we got King Crimson for a moment. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. I can say with certainty that RX Bandits are long overdue here on the channel and apparently are in very high demand because last month I asked you guys, what band is it criminal that Low End University hasn't covered yet? And RX Bandits had the most mentions and the most upvotes. And this is one of those bands that always gets a lot of traction over on Patreon's voting system, but never quite gets the top spot. So teamwork makes the dream work. You guys came together and made it happen. Now, I've got a quick story that might surprise you. Back when I was in Scale the Summit, this was about 11 years ago, I remember us getting a tour offer to tour with RX Bandits. And this was pre-streaming. We were in the mountains. We were mid-tour when this email came through, maybe at a rest stop. And none of us had heard the band name, but our agent was a punk rocker. And he was always talking about bands I'd never heard of. So he said, I really want to make this happen. This is really cool because they used to be a punk band or a ska band or whatever he said, but they've gone progressive rock. And they're trying to get in front of those audiences now. They've really kind of changed their style. And I remember us going, okay, sounds pretty cool. By this point, I just can't remember what happened and why that tour didn't come to fruition. There's always so many variables, logistics, scheduling, money, what have you. But point being, I haven't thought about that memory, not one time, until I started seeing RX Bandit mentioned in the comments and requested. So this is kind of a full circle moment for me going, that band, oh yeah. I guess it's time to listen to them for the first time today. And the track I saw requested most is called And the Battle Begun, which is from the band's fifth studio album of the same name released in 2006. Now, I don't know when this band transitioned their style into prog rock. I really don't know where that fits on the timeline, but nonetheless, I get the feeling this is going to be a really cool band to explore. So first time today, here we go. Without further ado, here is RX Bandits and their track And the Battle Begun. What a cool way to start a song. I like that there was this gradual increase. They've presented the possibility for there to be a huge range dynamically. Sorry. And I like that everything came in with no crash cymbal. You normally have a boom, like some sort of hit, but the groove just kind of started. It's like you didn't know when it was going to enter, and it could have entered at any time. It was almost a bit of misdirection if I'm talking about just dynamics. But when it started, I thought, oh no, this might be one of those really quiet songs where I can't really hear. I might have to turn the volume up or something. But they clearly were going for that huge dynamic range. You could just feel the intensity bubbling with the drums. Again, I like where the groove just kind of started. We're hearing that little tag, A flat, B flat, E. So I'm going to go back to where that groove starts. And I want to point out what I like about it. The groove just kind of happens. You don't know when it's really going to start. And when I say groove start, I mean like the vocals and such. Just kind of right into it. That's neat. Something about it. I didn't even realize that the first time. The hi-hats are a little bit of a delayed entrance as well from the vocals. Listen to that. Really like just kind of unrolls. Bit of a smoother tone. Let's see what I can do here. Man, I love that layer. What is that? It has this sort of A-B catchiness to it. And it's such a simple tertiary thing, right? I just love the dreaminess it brings in. Oh, they're the horns.
No solitude from the ticking hands. No way. Okay, now I'm losing it and I can't keep up. Operator, it's nothing personal, but I'm choking tears. I'm thinking back in fame. It's no better than before. It's just never been shine. And we keep running this race, we cannot be won. I keep coming up empty. Back to you know they're trying to sell my trust.
This is pretty damn cool. Wow, just what a beautiful unrolling slow burning of dynamics. It's like everything they've introduced, these little layers and, you know, left channel going dun 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 dun. It was almost like you're hearing something from the future in a dream. And now it's all like really up front and center, loud, punchy. So I love the foreshadowing with all the layers that now became the main riff. Okay, now I kind of need some overdrive. Now it's getting kind of gritty. I turned the mid scoop off and maybe a little more edge. Kind of a little heritage. Man, I love that. There was just like when you hear something you've already heard in a song, but just reframed with more intensity, there's just something kind of goosebumps that happen with that. Where was I? I don't know. Let's start here. Yeah, I knew I heard that B natural there. So jumps up, does a little B diminished thing there, which is kind of a half step leading tone chord. Back to the 1, which is C minor, I would say. Right here. Yeah, beautiful. Man, this riff is just pounding in my head. They've probably shown the bass player before. I'm just now seeing it. Jazz bass with a pick. Sounds about right. Any of that just fast alternate picking, I just suck with on a pick, so I'm going to keep playing it finger style. But good to know. Fat mic pick makes it easier for me to kind of do those. I don't know. I'm getting a little better at it, but I just don't feel confident. I really got to work on my pick skills just on the fly. If I'm going to learn something that's play with a pick, I got to really sit down and work on it. Jealous of you people out there who can just pick up a pick and fart this stuff out. Okay. The horns are really interesting placement. Yeah, so right after that B diminished, now we have the B flat back, almost in the same sentence, so it is a nice tension tone. Then we do this little riff here that's, I suppose, the chorus, but I was going to say about the horns, they've just snuck in. It's almost as if I didn't see them in the music video. It would have taken me a minute to feel their presence. And the accents they're playing are so carefully woven around this catchy ass, whatever that rhythm is, they just keep harping on it. It's now this main motif, and it's just kind of beaten into your head. And somehow the horns aren't doubling that. I don't think they're really double tonguing, going, but they're just going bop, bop, kind of in that upbeat reggae ska thing, but it just doesn't present that way. It definitely has that more conceptual rock, experimental dare I say, progressive feel. So again, I'm curious where this transformation happened. And if I'm relying on this really weak brain cell of, hey, RX Bandits are wanting to tour with a progressive metal band to get in front of those audiences more, it almost made it feel like at 2014, it might have been a very recent thing. And that's all I'm hanging on to. That's my only context here. But maybe they're just leaning into it back then, and maybe back then it was still pretty fresh. I don't know. I just love the whole idea of this. I come from progressive rock and metal, and I'm hearing a punk band come into that from the other side. So cool band. I'm sure I'm going to love exploring. Let's see where this goes. 5-minute song. Giving me Thrice vibes a little bit here and there too. Vocally, quirky, but for a second I went, okay, this is a cool new section. But again, it's sort of reminding me of the thing we heard a minute ago. A little synth layer that came in way in the beginning of the song. It almost gives me those vibes. So if I'm going on this narrative that they're introducing these really subtle layers, like way back here, they let a verse or a chorus go by, then they bring them right here. It's just genius songwriting. I mean, I felt like I was saying similar things about a band like Thrice. They're giving me Thrice vibes outside of the horns and some of the synth stuff. Just the core meat and potatoes of the song. Really nice melodic vocals, really nice leading tones and chords. Just the progression. It still has a poppy core to it. I think the progressive stuff lies in the song structure and some of the layering. So a lot to dive into, a lot to sink my teeth into. Loving this. Like how the guitars are still pretty clean as well. It's just like that thing from earlier, but a little different. Man, this is cooking now. Okay. Wow, man. Get out of here. What's happening? Wow. It's too much to handle. I got to hear that again. Not at all where I was expecting that song to go. Not like they set up that there were going to be some cool possibilities, but where did we just go? We got King Crimson for a moment. And holy crap. Got to go back to this one. Bass solo, bass chorus. I don't know. They even kind of lost me for a second. I got really quirky. And that's a good problem to have. I was about to go into this whole other point about that riff, but it's not even worth talking about now. I have a whole new thing to wrap my head around. Okay. Now I'm prepared for it. Just as I kind of got that part down. Okay. I'm lost for words. Yeah, those little like AOL dial-up sounds really was like, okay, we're getting weird. Yeah, strange key change. Like a tremolo pick thing. I mean, I don't even know what to dive into here. I think the most jarring thing that really threw me off was going from the C minor sound. We've been here. They jumped up a tritone to F sharp minor because I thought the bass was going to stay in key and go. Nope, up a half step. So we went from C minor to F sharp minor. Tritone. It just throws your ear off. I mean, that's the perfect... If they wanted the effect of we're going to throw off the listener as far as the tonal center, that was the way to do it. Amongst all the other crazy stuff. But... yeah. Flanger? This little tremolo pick guitar thing. Cool little... something like that. I'll never get it exactly, but it's a cool little motif. It almost sounded and presented like a bass solo. And sometimes that's a tricky compositional move to just jump to bass like that with an effect on it that makes you think it's meant to be more of a lead figure, kind of hi-fi with flanger, chorus, whatever that is. And then it becomes the ostinato. Now it's the background figure with all this other... I'm just going to call this the fever dream section. Is this where the battle begun? I'm assuming that's where it is. The fever dream has begun. Cool drumming. Oohs and ahs from the horn players. Okay, now they're doing the old progression in this new key, which has so much more punch at a higher register, different key. They've made that tritone jump, but they're doing the same. I got to really think about this one because I said we're in kind of C minor, but that chorus was sort of F minor. But they go up a half step in F sharp minor. I don't know. It's kind of, it wouldn't be worth it to go figure it all out, honestly. It breathes new life into the sound they harped on a few times back then. And this Fever Dream section was the perfect segue into a new key. I mean, what a quirky key change. If that was all just to change keys, that might be the most progressive thing I've ever heard. Love it. Yeah, now it's back where we were. Man. Back to the original key. That was smooth. That was so worth the wait. I mean, I'm going to comically say I wish I had really checked that out 10 years ago. What is there to say about what I just heard? There was a sense of chaotic, crazy, unhinged, toy with your emotions with tension and key changes. There's just all the things I always say kind of bottled into one sentiment. But I actually love how there was this really poppy, kind of melodic alt rock song at the core, and it's everything else was just a different seasoning, a different dipping sauce. Because if you strip away the Fever Dream section, I'm going to forever call it that. If you strip away some of the layering and some of the cool foreshadowing songwriting moves, that was just a really nicely written pop song in there with really thrice-ish vocals. That's just like the one comparison I'm hanging on to when I refer to that core poppier sound. But it didn't at all present like a pop song. It didn't present at all like a melodic alt-rock song because of how they used that progressive tinge. And, you know, when people think of progressive, it's easy to think of noodling, notes, no feel, that kind of thing. You know, all the things bands like my favorite band, Dream Theater, get knocked for. But then you have this other side of what progressive really means. And I've come to learn it's how to deliver something familiar in a brand new way. And that's sort of what I feel about this flavor of ska punk. Like you could tell their ska punk roots. And now I'm really curious to hear what they first sounded like and really curious what the latest album sounded like, which was from 2014. So they haven't really done anything in terms of new music since then. So this is all an interesting place to dip my feet into the water. 2006, And the Battle Begun. Wow, that's all I've got. It's going to take another listen for some of those things, but what a cool band. Thank you guys for shouting them from the rooftops, both here on YouTube and on Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, that's the best way to support the channel. If you enjoy what I do, please come find us over there, patreon.com/LoneUniversity. I'm definitely putting this on a full album poll. If it wins, that remains to be seen, but nonetheless, I will be back very soon. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Again, full albums every month on Patreon. I have bass lessons, music theory lessons, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.